Welcome to the CCF fellowship. Last Sunday we have learned how Jesus has gone through trials. Today we will learn about the picture of the Jesus crucifixion. Romans, they have practiced the crucifixion so much that it brought the fear among the people's heart. If you see the crucifixion, you will say, I don't want to see it again. I don't want to even look into it, because it's that much frightening, that much terrible, and the death is very painful. Even the Roman thinkers like Seneca, he says that better you commit suicide rather than you face the crucifixion. Even another thinker called Cicero, he says that the death is so shameful, yet we see that this death is Jesus has chosen it. But it was very effective to bring down the crime among the Jews or any other places. Romans specifically choose the place of crucifixion at such a place where a lot of people will be going up and down, or in and out. So basically they keep it before the entrance of the Jerusalem or outside the city, so that more and more people can witness it and they can see the horrible of it, and in the hearts they can say no to the crimes. Now, victims are the one who are always flogged. So what they do is, first they literally rip out the skin, by flogging. So what happens? According to the Jewish law, Deuteronomy 25 verse 3, the punishment was limited to 40 lashes or maximum like 39. But Roman soldiers, they were not under the Jewish law. So in their flogging, there is no limit. It can be extremely brutal. Sometimes even people will die before the crucifixion. The goal was to put them so much pain and so much agony and weaken them so much that on the way only they should lose their life. So that's how it is. Yet some people, they carry the cross all the way to Golgotha, and sometimes they linger on the cross for 1 day or even 2 days. And these criminals have been flogged and then they're forced to carry their own cross. Now the cross will be like this. They will be carrying actually the horizontal beam, and the vertical beam is already placed at the Golgotha. And the weight of that horizontal beam will be something around 45.4 kgs. And it takes almost 0.53 kilometers to move from the Jerusalem all the way to the place of crucifixion, that is called Golgotha. Now if you see the Golgotha, it looks like a skull. Even you see like two eyes like that. So, and also you'll observe lot of skulls being present of those people who have been crucified. Typically when someone crucifies, the body was left as a reminder for the Jews. It will be like hanging on the cross or on the tree as a reminder for those people who commit crimes. And it was also left out so that the birds can eat the flesh. The bones were then probably pushed on the side unless somebody belongs to that person comes and claims it. And some other places, they will put all the dead bodies like a trash, one above, it's like a big heap, and the families have to come and they have to search the body and they have to take it. But this is not the case in Jerusalem. So when let's understand how they hang on the cross. This form of punishment was actually practiced for more than 800 years. And it's been used in different ways. So there is no fixed theory is present how to kill people, how the crucifixion has to take place. Now nails have been used, yes, and in these nails, people will not die because of the nails. Okay, they have been, sometimes they use even the ropes so that they can put the both the hands and they can tie with the ropes both the hands. Okay, so this is also another way. Or sometimes they can nail the person to the tree or tie them to the tree after flogging. So Roman, they always, when they crucify, sometimes they remove all the clothes and the person will be naked so that they can increase the humiliation of that person. Now let us come back to Jesus. Traveling from Pilate to Herod, again back to Pilate, Jesus walks almost 4 kilometers. He has not slept and he has been mocked and he has been beaten. His skin has become very thin and very tender because of the hydrosis. Okay, this is one of the way where the physical condition of the person becomes more worst. If you read Matthew 27 verse 26 to 32, you see that the Pilate gives the order for Jesus to be flogged, and according to the Romans law, the people are flogged before the crucifixion and they have to stand naked way and they have been flogged covering the area where should be like shoulder, from the shoulder down to the upper legs, from the shoulder down to the upper legs. So the whole back side will be flogged. The whip which is present consists of several strips of leather. In the middle of the strips there will be metal balls, there will be skins, what you call the bones. Okay, it can be blades, it can be metal strips, it can be anything present in between. And at the end there will be some balls will be present so that it can hit the person's back. When it hits the back side, the person's back becomes little loose. So what happens, when the nails they hit the body, it really removes the chunk of the flesh, exposing the bones beneath. That's how they get flogged. And the flogging is present in such a way that it contains long ribbons, and it's not like one will be there. There will be 4 to 5 ribbons will be present. So think the way Jesus has gone through. So at this point Jesus has already lost lot of blood. So because of that, the body want to adjust, want to balance. In that process, Jesus always, sometimes people they drink water so that they can increase the volume of the blood, or sometimes they go under different kinds of shocks. Now, the Roman soldiers, they place a crown of thorns on Jesus' head. Okay, and they put a robe on his back. As you can read in Matthew 27 verse 28 to 29. The robe helps the blood stop the flow of the blood from the backside. Okay, so it has been kept totally on the body and it gets stuck because of the blood, because the blood acts like a gum, and it really the cloth gets stuck on the back as well as the whole body. Now what they do is they hit Jesus on the head. They put the crown, they push it inside and they hit it on his head. Okay, and the bleeding takes place from the head. Okay, the thorn causes more damage to the nerve that is supplies to the face, causing more intense pain down his face and to the neck. So as they mock him, the soldiers also try to make Jesus, insult him by making him small. Sometimes they spit on him, they mock him, they make fun of him. Okay, after that what they did is they removed the robe from the Jesus body. Already because of the blood, the robe got stuck and got dry. Now they just pull the robe. As soon as they pull the robe, the physical condition of Jesus becomes more critical. Due to severe blood loss without replacement with any water, Jesus comes into different huge shock to the body, to the mind, and to the heart. At such time, he is unable to carry the cross. Okay, since he has to carry the cross from Jerusalem all the way to the Golgotha. So that's where Simon of Cyrene comes to help out Jesus Christ. Right? We can read it in Matthew 27 verse 32. Now, crucifixion was actually invented by the Persians between 300 to 400 BC. Okay, it is quite possible that it was the most painful death ever invented by the humankind. The Roman people, the Roman Empire took the crucifixion and he has perfected it even more, making it more painful suffering and also a slow death. So the punishment was actually for the slaves, foreigners, for the revolutionaries and the criminals who are highly bad. So victims were nailed to the cross. However, Jesus' cross was probably not the Latin cross, but rather is called a tau cross, means T, capital T. The vertical piece, as I said, it remains in the ground permanently, and the accused has to carry the horizontal piece. This horizontal piece is called as patibulum, and he has to take it all the way to the hill. Now, if you observe, one sign will be present, okay, on the cross. It says that this is the King of the Jews, as per the Luke 23 verse 38. The accused needed to be nailed to the horizontal bar. Remember, it's called as patibulum. While lying down, so Jesus is actually thrown to the ground. Okay, already the wounds have been reopened, and now he hits the ground, and all the dirt and the ground, it rubs over his body and as well as on his back. Okay, which makes to cause even more bleeding. Now the nails, they nail the hands, okay, in such a way that it's not on the hands but on the wrist. Okay, they put the nail by separating the bones in between, and they hit it to that horizontal bar in such a way that it passes through the wrist, and then it has to go inside that horizontal bar, the wood. Okay, so once in one hit, suppose if the nail has passed through the human wrist, the next moment, making the nail to pass through the wood, the soldiers have to hit it very hard, and that's where the pain increases even more. It is something which I don't know how to say, but truly speaking, is the way Jesus has taken. Hats off, really. I cannot take it. Okay, so the huge nail will be something of 9 inches long, and sometimes it can even cut the major nerves of the hand also, what we call as the median nerve. This causes such a pain to both the arms of Jesus. Okay, once the victim is secured, the guards will lift this horizontal beam, that is called as patibulum, and place it on the stripes already on the ground. Means they will lift up Jesus, right, and they hold it. You might have seen the movie how they pull the body, and then they take the another hand of Jesus, and they pull it to other corner of the patibulum. And once, that's what you see, his shoulders and elbows actually they dislocate. That's what even Bible says, because you are pulling the whole weight of Jesus with the rope. That's what Psalms 22 verse 14 says. So at such position, Jesus' arms stretches to a minimum 6 inches longer than the original length. Okay, so it is highly likely that Jesus' feet is also nailed through the top in such a way that the legs is present approximately 90 degrees to the block of wood which is placed on the vertical column. Now, when they put this nail again, okay, the weight of the whole body is pushing on the wood, and there's a nail which passes through both the legs and the wood which is present, and also the vertical wood, the small chunk of wood as well as through the vertical wood. This actually gives a strong agony, pain, whatever you say, something not easy. And not just that, when Jesus was hanging there, he has to breathe in. To breathe in, there is a diaphragm is present, a large muscle that separates the chest cavity and the abdominal cavity. So the diaphragm has to move down. When the diaphragm moves down, it enlarges the chest cavity. Okay, as it enlarges the chest cavity, air automatically moves into the lungs through the inhalation. So as you inhale, the air will go inside through the lungs, and diaphragm will be going down. Okay, but to exhale, okay, you have to now bring the diaphragm up. So what you have to do is, you have to literally force your legs towards which is present 90 degrees. You have to press it and you have to come up. Then you can release the air. You can force the air to come out. So Jesus hangs on the cross. The weight of his whole body pulls down the diaphragm, and the air moves into his lungs and remains there. Okay, so Jesus has to push just to exhale. So if you observe, the air passes sometimes even through the vocal cords during exhalation. During exhaling, sometimes the air also goes to the vocal cords. The gospel notes that Jesus spoke 7 times from the cross. It is amazing that despite his pain, he pushes up to say that, according to Luke chapter 23 verse 34, forgive them. Even on the cross, Jesus didn't forget his mission. This is amazing. The difficult surrounding exhalation leads to a slow form of suffocation. Many people also die on the cross due to suffocation, which is one of the possibility, because carbon dioxide builds up in the blood, resulting in a high level of carbonic acid in the blood. That body responds instinctively, triggering the desire to breathe. At the same time, the heartbeats also becomes faster to circulate whatever the oxygen is present in the body, to move it, to circulate it. Okay, so the decreased oxygen causes damage to the tissues, and the capillaries begin leaking watery fluid from the blood into the tissues. The result in a buildup of the fluid around the heart and the lungs. So this is also one of the reasons why some criminals, they die because of the collapsing of the lungs. And even it can be a heart attack, or it can be a dehydration, it can be the inability, as I said, because of insufficient oxygen present in the body. The decrease of oxygen also damages the heart itself, okay, which leads to cardiac arrest. In severe cases of cardiac stress, the heart can even burst. This process is known as cardiac rupture. Jesus most likely died of a heart attack. I don't know. You can Google it and you can write it in the comments. Now, I have given few more claims. Now, there were 2 more criminals who were hanging next to Jesus. And when the soldiers come, they observe they're still alive. What they do is, they break the leg. So because once the legs are broken, the air goes inside, and because they cannot exhale it, they die due to suffocation. Okay, as John 19 verse 32 says. So when they came to Jesus, he was already dead. So they did not break his leg, as again John 19 verse 33 you can read. So what they do is, the soldiers bring a spear, and to assure that he was dead or not, okay, they check it by hitting near the heart, where a place where near the heart and the lung is present, where the water and the blood is being stored. Where as soon as they hit, the water and the blood rushes out. Okay, this is what it is in John 19 verse 34. So as we are learning such brutal murder and the pain which Jesus has taken, it shows that how much Jesus loves us, how much he is willing to give up his life, and he's giving up his life by his own willingness, just to see that we are saved, just to see that we can have a relationship with God once again, just to see that the whole sin, the whole debt which we have can be paid off. And it has to be done by the human being only, not by the animals. You cannot tell the judge, in place of me, let the animal take the punishment. No, it has to be a human being. Because God saw beforehand that Jesus is going to come and die for every person's sin, the person who is born, the firstborn person, till the last born person, Jesus has taken the weight of all those people's sins. And he's still standing there and showing his love. So my friends, as we participate in the communion, as we remember his sacrifice, let's do it with a grateful heart. Let's pray.